Tonight is the world premiere of Sprinkles, written for the Glen High School Wind Ensemble in memory of Jeremy Sprinkle. As a composer, I've had many nights of world premieres, but none have been as important as this one. I've written many pieces of music for many different types of ensembles, but none has been as personal as this one. There are many things I have to say tonight, so many that my wife suggested I write it down so I don't forget anything. Thank you, sweetheart. I want to start by speaking as a composer. I want to explain how I wrote the piece and why I wrote it the way I did. Typically, when you're writing a piece of music in memory of a loved one who has passed away, the music ends up being solemn, reflective, slow, and sad. When I started out, I tried something slow and sad, but it just didn't work. Compositionally speaking, the material just wasn't working, and emotionally, it just wasn't right. Jeremy was quirky. He had a lot of energy. He arranged stand tunes for the marching band and a cappella versions of pop songs for vocal point. Apart from his arrangement of our school's alma mater, I cannot think of something that Jeremy arranged, composed, or even played that was slow and sad. So to write a piece of music that is slow and sad in Jeremy's memory just didn't make any sense. Instead, I wrote something fun. I wrote melodies that were quirky and spontaneous. I wrote passages that were out of control with energy. In doing so, the piece became less about Jeremy's tragic death and more about his inspirational life. I am blessed as a composer, in that 90% of the music that I write is performed by my own students. I know my students' musical strengths and weaknesses very well. This affords me the opportunity to write music that is uniquely for them. A byproduct of this is that when I compose for a particular instrument, I don't have a picture of an instrument in my mind. I have a picture of a person. When I wrote a marimba solo for a marching band show, The Island, I pictured Kylie's face in my mind. When I wrote a trombone part, I pictured Andrew Henderson's face in my mind. And of course, for many years, when I wrote a trumpet or French horn part, I had Jeremy's face in my mind. In fact, the day I heard about Jeremy's death, I went to my computer and looked up old trumpet parts of music that I composed specifically for Jeremy. These pieces serve as my musical memory of him. When my wife and I attended Jeremy's viewing, there were two things that stood out in my memory. One was of the packed parking lot. At his funeral and at his viewing, there were hundreds and hundreds of people who were in attendance. Hundreds and hundreds of people who were inspired in some way by Jeremy's life. The second thing I remember is during the wake, there was a slideshow of pictures of Jeremy and his family. When it came to writing this piece, I wanted it to be full of musical pictures that I had of Jeremy's life. The piece became a musical slideshow of musical memories of the time we had with Jeremy. Although the piece is filled with most original material, it is littered with private jokes, themes from marching band shows, jazz rhythms and chords that remind me of Jeremy, either because they matched his personality or because he literally played them when he was with us. When you hear it, I hope you smile, because despite what Jeremy was feeling on the inside, when he played music there was joy. Joy, at least, in the people that surrounded him. I've learned many things over the course of my teaching career. There are things I've known about this band thing before that day in November that were proven and amplified by this tragedy. I think it's swell that participation in music will help with math and reading scores. It's just super that participation in music increases your mental abilities and are a predictor of success in college. But to put it simply, that's not why we're in band. And to think that it is laughable in comparison to what we gain from being on this stage. It's sort of like being excited about a free coffee after you won the lottery. No, we are not in band only because of the academic and physiological benefits. We're in band because we are alive, because we are human, because we are blessed with a God-given gift to create something from within ourselves that cannot be contained. We get to be a part of something that unites people of different backgrounds, different talents and abilities, different races, different socioeconomic status, different religious points of view. In all the chaos of the world, we get to sit down in one place at one time and make something together in a manner that cannot be duplicated in any other classroom setting or by any technological advancement. And that's not even the best part. We are a family built of love for one another. No matter your commitment or level of interest, this is a place where everyone fits in, where everyone is important, everyone is family. In the wake of this tragedy, I've had the honor to be there for the students in my band family. I had the opportunity to take care of them in a way I've never had before. In the same manner, my students were there for me and took care of me in a way they never had before. I've learned again that it's more important to laugh during a rehearsal than it is to get the right note. Now, you better get the right note. But we can't take for granted how great it is to be here, in this place, doing something we love with people that we care about. There's nothing I can say or do to bring a justifiable meaning to this tragedy. One of my few gifts is the gift of music. This is what I can do. This is the best I have to offer. As I was writing this piece and throughout the rehearsal process that followed, I was reminded of a quote from Leonard Bernstein. Bernstein wrote this about a performance shortly following the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I'd like to read this quote a little differently, though through the perspective of what we've gone through as a band family in the wake of Jeremy's tragic death. In doing so, I've changed a few of Bernstein's words, but I think the spirit with which it was written is still the same. Bernstein says, "We musicians, like everyone else, are numb with sorrow at this tragedy, and with rage at the senselessness of it. But this sorrow and rage will not inflame us to seek retribution. Rather, it will inflame our art. Our music will never again be quite the same. But this will be our reply to tragedy, to make music more intensely, more beautifully, more devotedly than ever before. And with each note, we will honor the spirit of Jeremy Sprinkle and commemorate his courage." Ladies and gentlemen, the 2015 Robert B. Glenn High School Wind Ensemble proudly presents the world premiere of Sprinkles, written in memory of and dedicated to Jeremy Sprinkle.